Well, here I am with Penny MacMorris. She is
Hello.
a chanteuse, a singer. She does very well at a lot of jazz. That's her life. She has another life as well, which we'll talk about. Really, first off, to introduce Penny, I think we need to know how she arrived here on the Côte d'Azur. So, Penny, how did you arrive here on the Côte d'Azur?
Okay, I hope you're in for a decent length story here because it's a bit of a saga.
Oh, I
Hello to
am.
everybody. I came on a jolly with my mother to Nice. I knew Nice from before, briefly, so I used to sing on the cruise ships and it used to dock in Nice. But I didn't really know the town. And so we came together, my mother and I, we stayed at the Boscolo Exedra and we had 4 days of great fun. We had a look around and we just fell in love with the place. We loved the architecture, we loved the vibe, and we didn't want it to be the only time we came back. So we were really lucky. We met some really great people who helped us incredibly to rent a place in a morning. Basically, we were recommended an agency, and he said, "Oh yes," he said, "I've got somewhere, but not just yet." And then he called the person. He said, "Yes, yes, of course you can come and look at it. I'm not moving out for 2 months, but you can do that." And then of course he said, "Well, now we need a bank account. Hang on a minute." Calls a friend at a bank, and in the morning we started this process at 9 o'clock in the morning, and had to be at the airport by 12. And not kidding you, we managed to rent an apartment with some of the paperwork done and open a bank account. So
Wow,
that
this
meant
is France.
then
This is the
it's
same
a
France.
no. I mean, because it's you would, I just couldn't, people go, yeah, right, you don't believe me. But we were super lucky, and that was great. So what we did was we rented a place, and the whole family was going to use it, and we were going to spend more time down in Nice. And my mum said, well, it'd be good for you because you can come down in the holidays and check out what's going on musically, because of course that's my thing, and maybe start to get to know people and develop some kind of second life down here. So that happened, and I went back home and I looked on Anglo Info because I'm that kind of person. I thought, just have a look and see what's going on down there. And what comes up first in the job category? I am not kidding you. Music teacher needed in an international school. And I went, oh. So I applied. Long story, won't go into detail about that. I applied and got an interview and got the job. And my mum said, but hang on a minute. That apartment that we rented, it's supposed to be for the whole family. I went, Tom Pete, I said, gonna have to move into it now because I've got myself a job. So within a few months, I'd completely quit my previous life and moved down here with an 8-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a cat. We moved down here, and we did it for a trial, to be fair. There's a lovely phrase that I really like, and it's kind of a motto for me, is that if you make a decision and it's not the right one, make another one. So I like that because it meant that we came down on a trial basis for a year. I basically shut up the house, left the car in the driveway, put a friend in it to look after it, and she rented from me. And we came down here for that first year. And after the first year, I said, we are not going back now. I said, all the things I've had to do with, because I'm the foreigner, my kids are half French. And so they were all right. They were already integrated in the system. But for me, getting everything sorted as the foreigner was really difficult, really difficult. And after that year, having sorted all of that, I said, right, that we're staying now. I'm not undoing it all. And the kids were getting better with their French because they didn't speak French. And I really thought that was important. And my ex-family is not too far away, a couple of 100 kilometers away. So yeah, we moved here, and that was that. So that's
Yeah.
how I got here. So I told you it was a bit long.
No, it's not a bit long. It's fascinating, but it leads me neatly on to my next thing. I'm always fascinated how people bring up children somewhere like the Riviera, which is a bit of a hothouse. There are a lot of
Yeah.
things to do. It's very different from bringing up children in their native country. What
Yes,
was your
it is.
experience?
Well, when I knew I was going to move here, I contacted some schools to see if I could get them a place, and and they ended up going to a school in Nice, which was an international school, but that didn't really work out very well. I teach in an international school. It wasn't that one, for various different reasons. And so I took them out of there and moved them into another place up in Drap, which actually doesn't exist anymore, which is a real shame. It was a very hippie type place. They learned how to plant seeds, how to take care of them, how to pick them, and then eat them in the canteen, and that they learned the whole process. They had swimming lessons, they had VTT lessons, they had horse riding lessons, and they learnt 3 languages, French, Italian, and English. And they had a great time that year. And the reason that they went to that school in that year is because when I first got the job at the international school, I teach in the international school of Nice. When I first got the job, I didn't have the right kind of contract to take them, but then I did after that first year. Everything was pivotal on that first year, because my daughter was going to have to go back to I would have gone back to the UK if I hadn't managed to sort something out to take the kids to the school with me. Because you can imagine, as a single parent, trying to take them to one school and me rush off to another one in time to get there for registration and stuff was really difficult. So that meant once I managed to get them into the school the second year, that made things a lot easier for me. And we were all going in the same direction. But yeah, I've kind of lost my thread there. I think I answered your question.
No, you haven't, completely. But we did discuss the fact that your son, who's only 12, has gone to Imperial College in London.
Sorry, there's the said cat. Get down, Charlie. That's what always happens on Zooms, isn't it?
It does.
Yeah, my daughter, actually, to tell you what ended up happening to them, because I've been here 11 years now. What happened was they studied in the international school, but my daughter, Margot, she didn't want to do the international baccalaureate. She wanted to narrow down the subjects. And she said to me, I want to go back to the UK to do my A-levels. And so I found a college near where my sister lives. My sister, by the way, chose not to have children. Big respect. She's a vet. She's into bringing up animals, and she has a small farm. But she decided not to have children, and I sent her my 16-year-old daughter, which is quite funny. But then they had a great time. And as a result of living with my sister and going to do A-levels in the UK, my daughter Margot, she ended up going in a hugely different direction than she would have done if she'd stayed here. She studied agriculture at the Royal Ag College in Cirencester, and she finished last summer. So she's got her BSc and is now pursuing a career. So she left me here at 16, which was a little early, but I knew it was the right decision for her. She really didn't want to do the system of the international baccalaureate. So she's 21 now, and my son, he's gone to Imperial Just in London. He really, really wanted to go there, and he did very well in school. He did. Very proud of him, actually. I'm proud of both of them. And he'd stayed at the school and did the international baccalaureate, which is different.
Well, let's go on to, because now Xavier was very interested in music, and I thought he was going to follow in your footsteps.
Now, they both play. Yeah. No. He's into computers. He does play piano. But like a lot of children, when they get to that mid-teens age, he didn't want to have lessons anymore. He had a wonderful piano teacher called Dee Pennicott. She's fantastic. She lives up in La Gourde, and he was still having lessons with her. But it got to a point where he said, I don't want to do that anymore. And I'd already argued with him a few years earlier, because he's quite talented with it. And he's got a really good ear. And he said, I don't want to do it anymore. And I thought, well, I have to give up now. I didn't want to spoil it for him. And poor Dee was like, oh, but I really like teaching him as well. But, at some point in that age group, you have to give up. And it wasn't something he was going to pursue as a career anyway. We knew that.
Wow.
So what I did was I took the piano. I've got an electric piano. I took the piano and brought it into my music studio, which you can see a little bit of it. There it is. I took that and I put instead in his room, I put a synthesizer and I put an audio card, and I gave him Cubase, and I went, just in case you're interested. Well, of course that worked, didn't it? So he still plays, and he still plays. And actually he sent me a video the other day of he's joined a music society at the uni, and he was actually playing something on stage the other day. So I'm pleased for him. It's a hobby.
He will do it.
He'll still do it. Yeah, he still. And Margot, I've just sent Margot's bass via a friend, on a journey that will eventually get it to the UK, because she's found somewhere to play, because she plays the bass. So as hobbies and stuff.
Let's now talk about you and your music, and what took you into music, what inspires you in music, and what you're doing now with music.
I went to a very Thank you. I went to a very musical primary school, and I absolutely fell in love with all aspects of music.
Musical primary school?
Yeah, the headmaster, the head teacher there was very musical. And so the whole school was influenced by that. And he ran all sorts of little orchestras. And I started off playing the flute à bec, the recorder, and then learned all the other recorders in that, all the different sizes and the different way of reading music. And I did. Then at 7, we were given an opportunity to learn another instrument. The whole school was, you could pick up an instrument. It was a council-run initiative. And all my friends said, I want to do the piano. And I'm like, I don't want to do the same as my friends. I'm going to pick something else. So I said, I'd like to do violin. So that then started off. I ended up going to music college as a violinist. I went all the way through school playing in the local orchestras and things like that. And really enjoyed it, and went to, he's not going to give up, music college as first study violinist. So I ended up going to Huddersfield Tech Music School. They had a special one up at Highbury in Huddersfield. And while I was there, I did an audition, and they said, oh, well, you can play piano, okay? I beg to differ, but still. And they said, you can play piano, okay? And if you're doing, I don't know if people know this, but if you go to music college and you're not a first study pianist, you have to do piano as your second study.
Oh.
You do. Everybody has to, to do that. And actually, I can see why, because it really helps learn the building of the harmony. So I did piano second study, and they also said, oh, we will get you to a certain, a good level of singing as well. I'm like, what? Singing? Okay. Hadn't really thought about it. So I studied all those at the school while doing various different A-levels. And I was in the choir, and I also ended up having had some classical singing training by then. I joined the quite famous Huddersfield Choral Society for a while as well. That's quite a well-known choral society in the UK. And so the singing started to take over. And I found that I was practicing the violin 4 hours a day outside of my college hours. And I just went, you know what? I like playing the violin, but it's not what I want to do as a career anymore. And the singing was taking over. At that point, it was classical singing. So then I went to another music college after that, for us to do the degree side of things, to do the music degree. But I chose a jazz college. So I did a degree in jazz. So I left the classical music, the classical singing behind at that point, because there comes a point when you get to a certain level that you have to make a choice because of the way the voice is produced. Okay. I can still sing some classical, but I'm not a lyric because you have to make a choice. And I decided I preferred the lighter music, the pop and the jazz. So I went to study that instead. So that took me to Leeds College, and I graduated. I graduated from there.
Wow. So down here, you are continuing this. You're doing more than you used to. And yes. I'd like to know how you find the music scene and what you're doing here. I know you have your own trio or quartet that you run around with, but you also do a duet with someone.
Yes, I shall tell you about that.
Tell us all about this.
Yeah. Well, first of all, the reason when I moved down here 11 years ago, I was very, very busy with keeping that teaching job and bringing up my children. So I did look for work, and I did do some singing, because in the UK, I lived off gigging. I lived off singing concerts. I did a few private lessons at home, but I had no other proper job, if you like. I say that, I'm allowed to say that. It's a proper job. But after that, what I decided to do once my children left the school, I took a sabbatical year. So last year, I took a year off to concentrate on getting work and developing the projects with the quartet, the trios and the duo, and my solo stuff as well. So I took a whole year in order to really get back into the music business again, because I missed it, but it was practical. I had to. Single parent, bringing up kids, something had to give. So as I say, I hadn't given up. But last year, I really started to concentrate on it. So yes, you mentioned I have a quartet. I'm very, very lucky to work with Claude Tedesco and Philippe Brassou and Johan Seraf. We've been doing some Estival concerts and things like last night. I was at the La Tranquette, and that's starting to really build. And we're definitely looking for what I'm trying to find different ways of getting into other festivals and doing different work with them. And that's definitely jazz and swing. And we put together quite a varied program. So there's a bit for everybody, and also some French songs as well, because I think that's important to include everybody.
It's very kind. You're very kind, French.
Well, also, I don't like to sing too many French songs because, as I say, there are plenty of French singers to do that, aren't there? So, you know, but they don't seem to mind my petit accent anglaise occasionally. So I put a few in. And trio, well, that varies. That can vary. Sometimes I work with a guitarist and a bass player, and sometimes I work with a different pianist and a bass player, and it varies. I have several different combos for that. But my main quartet one is the people I mentioned before, and that's going really well. Then sometimes I'm getting work, like sort of fairly intimate work with just a pianist. So then I have a duo with that. But the duo you're talking about is my fun duo time, which is les chic chanteuses, we call ourselves. We dress in big lady hats and 50s dresses, and we go out and we sing in the street.
Where?
All over the place. Antibes, we've just started coming back into Nice because they changed the rules again. But we always get a little crowd around, and it's great fun because as I say, we're dressed up completely and we sing quite close harmony things, and it's super fun, super fun. People come up and they go, "Oh, you've given us so much joy," and it's just fun stuff. We do some Andrews Sisters, and we do some laid back versions of pop things, and you know, Lisa Stansfield and Sting, and a real mixture of all sorts of things from all the different eras. And we've been having great fun. So what's happening now is we're being given opportunities to be represented by an agency and to do some private work, which is great. And actually why we went out on the street, because how do you promote otherwise by doing that? And that seemed to be the best way of doing it. So there's that as well.
See a little video of that.
Yes, I will get that. I will organize that for you. Yeah,
definitely. Brilliant. That would be so much fun.
Yeah,
oh, that's excellent. So the future's looking very good.
It's not doing too bad. It's a slow progress. When you move somewhere, it's almost as if I've just moved here from that point of view to bring my music back, as it were. But I did move from London and then had to restart my life up in Manchester years ago, and I know it takes time. And so I'm prepared for that. So this year after my sabbatical, I went back to teaching, but part-time. So then I've got that nice balance, having worked on building it up last year. Now I've got the time hopefully to do the two. And that's making me very happy to have that nice balance.
That's excellent. Yeah. That's excellent news.
Okay.
Well, how can we find out where your gigs are? Have you got a website? How do people contact you?
I have a website. I'm actually developing another one, which I haven't finished yet, but that will be clearer as to where I'm playing and when. I'm on social media. I have Facebook, I have Instagram, but there is a website. If people want to contact me and they don't use Instagram, I have a website. It's pennymacmusic.com, and that's Mac without a K, so PENNYMAC music.com. And on that, there's a contact form, which will then link into me contacting. But a lot of the time I use my Facebook page, I use Instagram. I do have X as well, but I don't tend to use that much. Not for work, anyway.
I don't think
you read that for politics.
I'm not sure about X myself.
Oh, wait, Twitter, yeah. But yes, I can be found on social media, and I have a YouTube channel as well, Penny Mac Singer. So there are quite a few different ways that you can find me if you want to.
Brilliant. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Penny.
Thank you for inviting me on Riviera Buzz. It has been a real pleasure.
It's an absolute delight to have you here, and now fascinated by your story. And I'm sure I hope you haven't cut it short, because I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you. No, I've completely chewed your ear off, I think.
No, you haven't. Not at all. So what we do now is I say thank you so much, and then we keep big smiles going while I find the off button.
Fine.
Penny. Thank
you very much, Mike.
Thank
Super.
you.